Why did HYB suddenly hand full responsibility for protecting Jikook to Lee Soo-jang's close friend? Is this just a routine bodyguard change, or is there a deeper secret behind Soo-jang's sudden disappearance? Have you ever wondered what it feels like for a global star when the person who has always stood like a silent shield beside them suddenly vanishes? Before we step deeper into this story, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss a single detail we're about to uncover.
You're gone, alone, and then share echoes of me.
It's about friendship, sacrifice, and a truth that's never been told to the public. The day came without warning. Jimin and Jungkook stepped out of the sleek black van as usual, but something in the scene was missing. Lee Soo-jang, the man who had quietly stood between them and the chaos of the outside world, was gone. In his place stood someone whose face might not be entirely unfamiliar to the sharp-eyed fans who have been watching for years. His name was never officially announced, but long-time followers knew. This was the man who had often been seen lingering in the background, walking a few steps behind Soo-jang, exchanging quick words with him in the midst of a crowd, sometimes even scouting an area before Soo-jang approached. He wasn't new. He was Soo-jang's close friend, a trusted partner who had been a shadow in nearly every security operation for Jikook. HYBE had now given him full responsibility, not only because he could match Soo-jang's precision in crowd control and protective tactics, but because he carried something rare, an ability to read the emotional shifts of the people he was guarding. He could sense subtle changes in Jimin's expression or the smallest shift in Jungkook's body language, and respond before a word was even spoken. On his first day standing in Soo-jang's place, his gaze was focused but not cold. No sunglasses to hide behind. His eyes scanned every corner, every movement, but would occasionally land on Jimin or Jungkook to silently reassure them. There was a calmness reminiscent of Soo-jang, yet also a difference. This man allowed a faint, polite smile for fans who behaved respectfully, as if he understood that protection didn't always mean creating a wall of ice. Still, behind that faint smile, there was tension, one that even casual onlookers could feel. Several fans claimed they saw him sending short messages on his phone before and after events. Who was he contacting? Could it be Soo-jang, or someone higher up in HYBE's chain of command? Rumors began swirling. Some believed that Lee Soo-jang hadn't truly left at all, that he was still working behind the scenes, strategizing, monitoring, making sure every step was safe while his friend took the visible frontline role. If true, that meant this man wasn't just a replacement. He was Soo-jang's direct link to the members. An emotional moment happened during a fan sign event. Jungkook, usually fully focused on the fans in front of him, turned slightly to glance at the new bodyguard and gave a small nod, the exact gesture he used to give Soo-jang in the past. Fans who caught the moment swore they saw the bodyguard's eyes soften, as if he was remembering someone or silently acknowledging him. Now the question lingers in the air. Is this just a normal transition of security staff, or is it part of a bigger plan, one that required Lee Soo-jang to disappear from the public eye for now? And if Soo-jang is still out there, how much is his closest friend doing to keep that secret safe? They said the change was official. They said the past was behind them. But in the world of high-profile idols and the invisible battles fought in silence, nothing is ever as it seems. The man now at Jikook's side was no rookie. His name, rarely spoken aloud, floated in fragments among the dedicated few who had studied every detail of BTS's movements. Some called him Minho, others whispered another name entirely, unsure if it was a code name or his real identity. What everyone agreed on was simple: he had been there all along, just not in the light. Lee Soo-jang's absence left a quiet gap, like a missing instrument in a song you've heard 1,000 times. The harmony was still there, but something about it felt thinner. Yet Minho moved with an ease that suggested he had been preparing for this role far longer than anyone knew. He didn't simply stand near Jimin and Jungkook. He aligned himself perfectly with their pace, adjusted subtly to the shifting moods of the crowd, and maintained a field of awareness that reached far beyond the stage. The first sign that something unusual was happening came during a late-night airport arrival. The terminal was almost empty, the sound of rolling suitcases echoing under bright fluorescent lights. A few die-hard fans waited with cameras ready, their excitement muted by the lateness of the hour. Minho walked 2 steps behind Jimin, his phone in hand, not for distraction, but for precision. His thumb moved quickly, almost rhythmically, sending short bursts of text. No emojis, no long paragraphs, just fragments. Fans later froze the video and enhanced the frame, trying to read the reflection of his screen in the glass wall. The result was blurry but chilling. The name at the top of the message thread began with an S. Sujong. From that moment on, fans began watching him differently. They noted the way he would pause at certain corners, glance upward as if checking for cameras, and subtly tap his earpiece not to respond to HYBE's security team, but in a sequence that felt personal. By the second week of his public role, patterns began to emerge. Minho would disappear for exactly 3 minutes during every venue inspection, slipping into service corridors and reappearing, with the faintest shift in his posture. Some speculated that he was meeting someone. Others believed he was exchanging physical items, notes, drives, photographs, with unseen hands in the shadows. During a music show taping, an unexpected incident tested his skill. A barrier collapsed under the weight of an overly eager crowd, and for a split second chaos erupted. Minho's reaction was immediate. He moved Jimin and Jungkook out of the path with surgical precision. But what caught attention later was his glance not toward the crowd, but toward the far corner of the venue, where a man in a dark cap stood still, watching. The man didn't approach. He didn't move. But in a moment caught by a single fan's shaky footage, the man's face tilted just enough for light to reveal part of his profile. And in that instant, those who had memorized Lee Soo-jae's features felt their breath catch. It couldn't be, could it? The clip went viral in niche online groups, sparking frantic debates. Some swore it was Soo-jung, others dismissed it as a coincidence, a trick of light and shadow. But those who had followed the bodyguards' every movement for years knew the truth in their gut. The way Minho's eyes locked onto the figure, the fractional nod he gave before resuming his scan. It wasn't the reaction of strangers, it was recognition. From that night, the theory evolved. Soo-jung wasn't gone. He was operating from the periphery, using Minho as his direct line into Jikook's world. It was a dangerous game, one that required absolute secrecy. Yet the secrecy was fraying. Minho's professionalism never faltered, but fans with sharp eyes began catching glimpses of coded exchanges. A folded piece of paper tucked into a drink tray and handed discreetly to him during a staff handoff. A sequence of head movements when passing certain security checkpoints. The most haunting was during a live broadcast, when Jungkook leaned slightly toward Minho and murmured something that made the bodyguard's expression tighten almost imperceptibly. Hours later, Minho was seen leaving the high building alone at 3:17 a.m. His jacket collar turned up, walking with the kind of purpose that didn't invite questions. He didn't take his usual route home. Instead, he vanished into the industrial district on the edge of Seoul, a place far removed from the polished glass of the entertainment world. 3 days after that, a fan spotted a figure sitting in the back of a nondescript sedan parked near Jikook's rehearsal venue. The windows were tinted, but the passenger side glass was cracked just enough to reveal a familiar jawline. The car didn't move until Minho exited the building. He approached it casually, leaning just slightly toward the window before walking away without a word. The car pulled off seconds later. The connection was undeniable now. Minho wasn't just a replacement, he was a messenger, a bridge between the members and the man who had once been their shield. But why hide? Why not return openly? That's when the darker rumors began. Some claimed Soo-jung had been pulled from his role due to an internal investigation involving a security breach that had nothing to do with him, but everything to do with protecting information about the members. Others whispered about threats, the kind that couldn't be fought with muscle or quick reflexes, but required invisibility. Minho, for his part, never addressed the whispers. He simply kept moving, kept watching, kept sending those short, cryptic messages. But during one fan meeting in Bison, a moment occurred that left every witness shaken. As Jimin was greeting fans, a loud crash echoed from somewhere backstage. Minho's head snapped toward the sound instantly.